Hi everyone. As I was watching the episodes for Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV show week on week, a singular question kept on knocking my brain. Why is Amazon spending extraordinarily hefty amount of money on this TV show? What is the business aspect of such a huge investment on just one TV show? For context, Amazon has spent $250 million just for acquiring the rights of the show. And to round it all up, the series' 5 seasons are going to cost Amazon upwards of $2 billion, which makes this the costliest show ever produced in television history. And we'll discuss the breakdown of this $2 billion in a bit. But the question is that, how can a company, even if it's one of the biggest conglomerates on the planet, justify such a huge investment in just one TV show? And that's what we will discuss and break down in business terms today to get a clear understanding of Amazon's brilliant strategy for its video streaming business, with resulting impact on the growth and expansion of the e-commerce vertical. People, I'll also request you to watch this episode till the end, since we will be analyzing the business strategy in quantitative terms in the later part once we establish the contextual groundwork. First of all, let's put the series investment numbers, specifically just the TV show rights of $250 million in perspective, so that we can get a sense of the magnitude of this investment figures and not considering the production cost. 1. It's exactly 1,000 times of what J.R.R. Tolkien received when he sold the rights for the first time in 1969. 2. It's 125 times as much as the $2 million which Warner Brothers paid J.K. Rowling for the first 4 Harry Potter books. 3. It is more than 40 times of the biggest book adaptation deal ever of $6 million which Dan Brown received for the Da Vinci Code. 4. And to top it all, it is the same amount which the producers spent to produce all 3 of the movies in the Peter Jackson directed trilogy. And might I remind you, this is just the rights acquisition cost and not production cost we are talking about. A matter of fact is that this is all a part of Amazon's expansion of streaming service, which has included big acquisitions such as the MGM Film Studio, which is home to the James Bond and Rocky movies. Development of a free streaming service in the US known as Freevee, meant to target the price-conscious consumers, and ending the sports streaming domain with the live streaming of the NFL games. So the question arises that why an e-commerce company has been on a shopping spree of big-budget studios and has been showering so much money on the entertainment business alone? Well, to answer this first, we need to understand Amazon's Prime business model and why it is such a runaway success for Amazon. You see people, Prime is a marketing strategy based on a very interesting behavioral science concept known as sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy comes into picture as soon as a customer becomes a Prime member, or in other words, once you have invested your money in the Prime subscription model. This automatically triggers our brain to consider the subscription as a sunk cost, meaning a dead investment. And this further leads to our human nature to take over, as a result of which the Prime member starts exploring all the membership benefits just in order to recover, or rather get as much as possible out of the sunk cost. Now coming on to the second part of the question, which was that why is Amazon Prime a runaway success for Amazon? This is actually based on 2 significant reasons. Number 1. Prime provides a comfort factor to its members to shop online with free delivery, which is unmatched by its competitors. This comfort barrier is almost impossible to break, especially in countries like India, where the people are price conscious. Not only this, but this delivery barrier also brings multiple purchases for Amazon, since the customer is totally carefree of the delivery cost and rewards both himself as well as Amazon in turn. And this is corroborated by globeandmail.com, who report that a Prime member on an average spends twice of what a non-Prime member spends on Amazon. Number 2. Amazon bundling strategy is a genius move which offers numerous additional services to the customers besides free delivery, such as access to music, data storage, and the protagonist of our conversation today, the streaming service Prime Video. Speaking analogy-wise, with this many services bundled in one package, Amazon ties a customer with golden handcuffs, which is why, as per Statista.com, Amazon's Prime member retention rate after 1 year is a magnificent 93%, of which 98% again renew for a second year. So we can see that the membership is a win-win situation for both the Prime member and Amazon. And this is why companies such as Apple have come out with their own streaming business with Apple TV Plus. And Walmart has entered into a deal with Paramount Plus to offer its own services bundle, offering free delivery from the store along with the other add-ons. But the question arises, then how does Lord of the Rings and its huge investment tie in all of this? How does all of this justify its behemoth investment? Well, let's deep dive in the business analysis part of our episode, where we'll see how the TV series' hefty budget is not a naive move, rather a genius and a calculated move from Amazon's overall Prime Video marketing strategy. So first, let's define clearly what is our objective for the analysis and why it's significant, if at all. Well, keeping in lines with the topic, our objective is to identify how exactly, in quantitative terms, will Amazon profit from the Tolkien venture. And in a significant sense, this will give us a transparent and clear-cut understanding of the working of this video streaming business model. As a first step, let's define and break down the $2 billion production cost, which we discussed in the starting of the episode. To start off, the rights acquisition cost is $250 million. The production cost for the first season reported is $465 million. Now, since Amazon is moving its production to studio spaces in UK instead of real locations, so discounted cost for the rest of the 4 seasons is $400 million. Total cost over the course of the entire series run is thus $2,315 million. Now guys, the calculations going further might get a bit technical, but I'll try to keep them as simple as possible, so please bear with me. Before beginning, we are going to develop a very basic financial model expanding over a course of 10 years to try to reach to a figure which would justify Amazon's genius strategy, and the calculations being carried out are very conservative in order to avoid complexities. So as a first step, let's consider the survival of membership, which is the percentage of people dropping with subscription next year as 2%. Now we assume revenue growth as 10% each year. Additional revenue, which is the revenue from purchases over Amazon ecosystem, and repeat purchases is considered growing at 10% each year, starting at $800. Now operating margin, which is a company's profit after deducting expenses and cost, is 2%, with annual growth at 0.4% each year. This gives us the operating income on additional revenue. Next is the Prime membership fee, which is $139 in the US. This gets us to the operating profit per member, followed by tax and after-tax operating income. Present value is calculated since we are making a calculations today with 8% weighted average cost of capital, which is the cost of borrowing funds, be it either debt or equity. This then finally brings us to the value per Prime member. And if we do the maths, we can easily see that for Amazon to make $1 million, it needs 757k new Prime members only, which means approximately 1.5 million Prime members to recover the whole LOTR production cost. But there are 2 major flaws here which we did not pay attention to. You see people, first of all, we have not accounted for the current members who have invested in other platforms and hence do not contribute to this model's revenue. And secondly, we have not accounted for the saturated market of USA Prime members who already form 75% of the total Prime members all over the world. Hence, in order to factor in these flaws, we need to adjust our calculations for new foreign Prime members. So adding in total members and new members with 10% increase in current year and then 0.5% reduction in members every year from 2024 onwards, and inculcating cost of acquisition along with Prime fee as $80 for foreign markets instead of $139. Also people, due to time constraints, I'll not deep dive further in calculations here, and I'll add the link to the Excel sheet in the description below for your understanding of the calculations and further reference. But to cut the long story short, Amazon can easily bring in more than $200 billion in the next decade if it adds 204 million new subscribers, which is 20 million subscribers every year. To simplify this even further, we know the value from a single new Prime member is $976, which means Amazon will need just over 2 million subscribers all over the world to make up for the cost of the TV series. And to put this 2 million figure in perspective, the premier viewership for the show was 25 million. So even if 10% of the people would have subscribed to Prime, then Amazon has more than recovered its cost. Plus we know it will be far more than 10%, so need we say more? And this is not even considering the fact that we know from Amazon's historical findings that every new Prime member spends on an average 11.6 times the annual fee paid in the first year itself. Additionally, we haven't factored in the billions of dollars of merchandise cost the series will generate to the course of its run. Hence, what seems like a huge investment is actually just a fraction of what Amazon will be able to make by offering golden handcuffs along with enmeshing the viewers to the golden web of its money minting ecosystem. So people, next time you have a discussion with someone over how Prime Video, Apple TV Plus or other streaming ecosystems make money, I think you are now in a comfortable spot to clear their doubts and conundrums. Also do share this video with them in order to let anyone and everyone have a clear-cut understanding of this often asked but overlooked business question. If you found the content to be useful and educational enough, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such content. I'll see you all in the next knowledge-filled episode. Mindfulness signing off.